Hello, brothers and sisters. Welcome back to our red letter study. Welcome back to Matthew 11, which is interacting with different people. Last time we saw the disciples of John, and today we'll see this generation. This conversation happened around the same time. After the disciples of John left, Jesus started to talk about John the Baptist, talking about this great man that they went to see, but they didn't fully get what this was all about. This is when he tells this generation a little parable. But to what shall I compare this generation? It is like children sitting in the marketplace and calling to their playmate, "We played the flute for you, and you did not dance. We sang a dirge or a funeral song, and you did not mourn." Now, when you stop and think of that, it's a very weird parable. I've heard a lot of preaching going on through different parables of Jesus. That one's never really talked about. Yet it's right there. What is Jesus talking about? What is he saying about this generation? Well, I believe he explains himself right after when he says, "For John came neither eating nor drinking, and they say he has a demon. The Son of Man came eating and drinking, and they say, look at him, a glutton and a drunkard, a person of tax collectors, a friend of tax collectors and sinners. Yet wisdom is justified by her deeds." We'll get back to that phrase later. But we said he's explaining what the parable means by saying "for." This parable means this. But the question is still, what does it mean? Now, some have said that the idea that John and Jesus are the children in the marketplace who called people to repentance and they didn't. Who called them to turn to Christ and they didn't. So these children called to the generation and the generation didn't respond properly. But that doesn't seem to work with the idea of "for." Because I'm saying this because it seems preferable to see instead that this generation are the children in the marketplace who are saying you should be this and you should react like that. See, they turned to John the Baptist and said, you should be happy. You should be rejoicing. You should be like us, having fun. But he didn't, right? He wasn't drinking. He wasn't eating. So they said, he has a demon. You're not acting properly, John the Baptist. Not the way we thought you would. And then they turned to the Messiah and said, you should be more austere and severe in the way you treat your body. But instead he was drinking and eating. So they again reacted badly. You're not mourning as you should, Jesus. So they call him a glutton and a drunkard and a friend of sinners. I believe that's a better way of understanding this little parable. Now don't miss two things. Don't miss that he's talking to this generation, which is not just the religious leaders. I've heard that many times. He was only rebuking the religious leaders. No, he wasn't. Many people in the crowd were Mr. and Mrs. Everybody. And not many of these crowds actually became his disciples. They were this generation, children in the marketplace, saying, John, you should act this way, and you're not. We're not going to listen to your sermon. We're not going to repent and get baptized, like you said. Or even if they did, they would then turn to Jesus and say, okay, as a Messiah, you're supposed to do this, that, and the other. But you're not. Forget you. And that happened a lot of times. Especially in John. We see it over and over again. People say they want to follow Jesus. He says certain things, does certain things, and they're like, we don't want to follow you. You're not doing as we thought you should. You're not following our expectation of what the Messiah should be like. So, like I said, he's addressing everybody. This brings me to here now. Many times people have expectation of what Jesus is supposed to be doing, what it means to be a Christian. And when it doesn't happen like this, well, we have bad reactions. We start questioning God, doubting him, because we had expectations about this Messiah and what it means to follow him. We shouldn't be like these children in the marketplace, saying we should have these kinds of pleasures and this kind of austerity and spirituality. And if God doesn't give us this, then I'm out. No. We are to submit to what his word, his revelation tells us of what it means to be a disciple of his son. And who is this son? Who is this God? and when he needs to follow him. So with that said, brothers and sisters, I hope this has been a bit challenging and also a pleasure to be able to have a better understanding of this parable.